Assalamualaikum. I'm very good. Yeah, Abi to Dr. Muklis. My name is Siti Nurhanis for binti Sulaiman. My metric number 273-111. Generally, transfer of cases basically can be defined as a transfer of case from one court to another court or to a different court. So under the CPC or under the Criminal Procedure Code, he has listed down numbers of sections in assessing the court with regards to the transfer of cases such as section 177, section 417, and section 418. And mainly, there are two types of transfer, which are lateral transfer and vertical transfer. So lateral transfer is basically a transfer of cases with the same power but different jurisdiction, while vertical transfer is basically a transfer of case with different power but same jurisdictions. And transfer of cases is not only provided under CPC, but there's also another statute that provides the same, such as Section 41A of DDA.
Good day, I beat to doctor. My name is Koh Yuen Han and my metric number is 274056. The part that I'll be presenting is transfer of cases by magistrate or session court judge. This part will be discussed under two branches. The first branch is Section 177 of CPC. According to Section 177, it has stated that the magistrate has the discretion to transfer any trial case to a higher court that has higher jurisdiction. Section 177 can be known as a vertical transfer provision. In the case of Mansyur Omar and PP and another, the two accused in this case objected the order of case transfer by using the ground of territorial jurisdiction. They claim that the provision that the prosecution should apply to High Court is Section 417 of CPC. The court dismissed the application of the accused because Section 59 subsection 2 of Subordinate Court Act states that the jurisdiction of the section court covers the whole country. The president or magistrate has the discretion to transfer the case to any other session court in accordance with Section 104 of SCA. Section 99 of SCA also allows lateral transfer of proceedings done by the subordinate court. The second branch is Section 177A of CPC, where it has stressed that the public prosecutor has to give his consent in order to institute the prosecution in the High Court in spite of the consent is not requested for an arrest and warrant of arrest. If the PP give his consent, then the prosecution may be instituted in the High Court. The magistrate has the duty to transmit the case to the High Court after explaining the charge to the accused and must cause him to be brought before the High Court as soon as possible. The High Court needs to fix a date of trial for the accused when he appeared or is brought before the High Court. In the case of PP and Oladotul Lukmaru Umaru and others, the judge decided that consent must be obtained from the PP before the magistrate transfer the case to the High Court. The consent can be given by the Deputy Public Prosecutor on behalf of the PP.
Good day everyone, my name is Nell, Yazmeen, binti Dassky Azwan, and my metric number is 273103. So I will be presenting on the transferring cases by the High Court. So the High Court has the authority under Section 417 of the CPC to transfer a criminal case from one court to another court of similar or higher jurisdiction. So in subsection 1, two limbs can be elaborated further. So the first limb is the grounds where the High Court may transfer the case. The first ground is that the sub-ordinate court cannot hold a fair and impartial trial. The second ground is that the High Court may transfer the case if there are some unusual difficulties in interpreting the question of law arising during the trial. Illustrated in the case of Oh Keng Seng against PP, the term unusual indicates that the question of law has never been handled by the court previously. So the third ground is that the trial venue should be close to the crime scene. Next, the venue must be accessible to the parties and the witnesses. Lastly, it is necessary for the objectives of justice. So in the case of Riza Aziz against PP, the court will analyze every detail of the case in relation to transfer the applications in determining the fulfillment of the efficiency. The second branch in subsection 1 relates to the orders that the High Court may make. So paragraph A states that the High Court may order any offence to be tried by any court not empowered under sections 121 to 126 but competent to try such offence. This paragraph emphasizes lateral transfer. Paragraph BB provides that the High Court may order the case to be transferred either laterally or vertically. Paragraph CC also provides that the court may order any particular criminal case to be transferred to the High Court, i.e. concentrates on vertical transfer. Furthermore, subsection 2 provides 4 situations in which the High Court may transfer a criminal case. So the first is on the report from the lower court. Second is when the prosecutor made an application for the transfer. The third one is an application made by the accused. Lastly, it is on the High Court's motion to transfer the case. According to section 418 of the CPC, the general rule is that all transfer of cases applications made by the prosecutor are only by application and supported by affidavit. The application must be made before or after the trial has been concluded. Besides, suppose the application is made by the accused, the judge may direct him to execute a bond and shall inform the application and its ground to the prosecutor in writing.
Hi, my name is Adriana, Natasya, Mazni. My matric number is 273235, and I'll be explaining about the transfer of case by the private prosecutor. So the private prosecutor also has the power to make applications in transfer the case from lower to the court of higher jurisdictions, as provided under sections 177 and 480A of the Criminal Procedure Code. And so, as mentioned before, in section 177, it basically includes that the private prosecutor also may make applications to transfer the case from the subordinate to the higher court, whether before or during the trial. But in most cases, it is actually made prior to the trial with the supporting justifications. Especially, for instance, if it is application made to the High Court, it must fulfill the requirements such as provided in section 117, subsection 1A until E. So, as in the case of private prosecutor against Abdul Aziz, Abdul Rahim and other applications, the court dismissed the application because section 417 provides that the High Court judicial discretion ultimately determines whether the criminal case should be transferred from the subordinate court to the High Court. Instead of it actually totally depends on the choice of the private prosecutor. Especially in this case, the applicant's reasoning was only due to the accused being a public figure. So another related provision is in the section 418A, where it is regarding trial by the High Court on the requirement of the certificate issued by the private prosecutor in order to transfer the case. So however, it must be noted that as stated in section 418B, section 418A can be applied provided that the accused has not entered a plea of guilty and that the introduction of the evidence in the case against the accused has not yet started. So the case of the former Malaysia Prime Minister private prosecutor against Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib Haji Abdul Razak is applications of the section 418A, where the private prosecutor can actually withdraw the certificate after this issue. So the court in judgment made according to Article 145, subsection 3A. So the court also referred to the requirements of transfer under section 480A, where the private prosecutor may issue a certificate for transfer when the accused has not entered a plea of guilty and no evidence has been presented yet. So in this case, even at the moment of the private prosecutor requested that certificate be withdrawn, the trial for the charge had yet to begin. So hence it can be summarized that even though private prosecutor has the power vested in section 477 and 480A to make the transfer of case, the power is quite limited as the private prosecutor must fulfill the requirements stated as to the section where the application is made to which court, instead of simply making application as their will. So thank you.
Transfer of cases with the accused application. So the accused may file an application to transfer his or her case, and by virtue of section 417 of CPC is contained the most pertinent section regarding the accused application to transfer cases. And section 417 subsection 2 of CPC expressly grant the accused the ability to file applications with the High Court under its own initiative. And subsection 2 of the concerned section must be read in conjunction with subsection 1 of the same section, whereby the court must be satisfied on several issues before issuing the granting order. And in the case of Lin Guan Eng, the appellant filed an application to transfer his case to the High Court from the Session Court, and the application was made under section 417 of CPC on the ground that there are questions of law that need to be determined by the higher jurisdictions. However, the learned judge of the High Court decided to dismiss the appellant's applications on the ground that it failed to fulfill the requirements provided under section 417 subsection B and E of CPC, as the court found that there is no unusual difficulty in determining the questions of law arises in this case, and the Court of Appeal also affirming decisions of the High Court.
A very good day to my fellow friends and Dr. Chris. My name is Ka Yao, matric number 272807. I will present the part regarding the transfer of cases under other statutes in respect of Section 41A of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952 and Section 11 of the Firearms Increased Penalty Act 1971. Firstly, there are two limbs under Section 41A of the DDA. The first limb is that the case which is triable exclusively by the High Court. For example, the drug offence under Section 39B of the DDA shall be tried in the High Court. In the case of PP against Punanan Sharon, Anaraki, Kesawan and others, the prosecution unable to give consent to prosecute because the chemist's report was not ready. However, The court held that the public prosecutor consent is not the prior requirement to transfer the case as long as it is triable exclusively by the High Court. The second limit is that the case where the public prosecutor must require them to be transferred to the High Court. The case of Savimuti Sinapan against PP laid out that the requisition is only valid if the trial has not yet begun, such as no evidence has been adduced. Besides, once the case has been transferred to the High Court, it cannot be transferred back to the subordinate court. Next, in respect of Section 11 of the Firearms Increased Penalty Act 1971, it has the similar application with Section 41A of the DDA. It can be further explained by Public Prosecutor against Dr. Yap Peng, where the court held that Section 11 of the Firearms Increased Penalty Act 1971 has the similar wording as to the Section 41A of the DDA. With that, both are having the similar application for the transfer of case to the High Court. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good day, sir. My name is Amelie Gan Zhi Ying, metric number 272767. Now I would like to present 3.3, paragraph 12 of the Schedule of Court of Judicature Act of 1964 and 3.4, paragraph 3, clause 2 of the Third Schedule of the Subordinate Court Act 1948. Paragraph 12 of the Schedule of the Court of Judicature Act of 1964 state that the High Court may transfer any proceeding to or from any subordinate court, and in the event of a transfer to or from a subordinate court, to provide any instruction as to the subsequent action of such proceedings. This paragraph grants the High Court the authority to transfer proceeding to or from subordinate court. It must be emphasized that Section 417 of CPC disallowed the High Court from transferring the court case to a subordinate court. However, inconsistent opinions exist on whether the High Court can transfer the case to the lower court. In PP versus Su Liangyu, the respondent was charged with suspected corruption, and the public prosecutor directed the case be heard in the High Court. As there were no ground as to why the matter should be heard by the High Court, Hashim Yo Sanijay remitted the case to the Section Court pursuant to paragraph 12 of the Schedule of CJA 1964. In PP versus Lim Swee Wang, the defendants were charged with violation of the Dangerous Drunk Ordinance 1952. When the lawsuits were brought before the High Court, the learned judge ordered transfer proceeding to the Special Section Court. The judge delivering the decision in the Federal Court determined that once a case has been transferred pursuant to Section 418A of the CPC, the High Court must set a date for the trial, and that paragraph 12 of the Schedule of the CJA 1964 give no authority to transfer lawsuits to the subordinate court because it is subject to other written law. Paragraph 3, clause 2 of the Third Schedule of the Subordinate Court Act of 1948 authorized the subordinate court, upon request or of his own will, to transfer the case to a lateral court that has the same jurisdiction. In Manokaran and another versus PP, the cases against the appellants were initially brought before a section court president. However, after that, the special president of the Special Section Court, which was hired to the section court, summoned the appellant cases before his court. The appellants were charged, and upon their guilty pleas, they were convicted and sentenced. The appellant challenged their conviction and sentence on appeal. The judge ruled on two grounds that the special president behaved improperly. First, subsection 2 of section 3 of the Third Schedule of the SCA of 1948 only permits lateral transfer. In this instance, the case went to a higher court. Second, section 104 of the SCA 1948 permits the transfer of cases from the transferor court to a transferee court. In this case, it was the transferee court, which is Special Section Court, that ordered the transfer. That's all from me. I will pass the floor to the next presenter.
To sum up, transfer of cases can be made at any time before judgment is granted by the learned judge, and the public prosecutor play a significant role. And the significance of the public prosecutor can be seen through the section 177 of the CPC, where in order to transfer a case to the High Court, the applications of the transfer must have been consented beforehand, and only the magistrate can process the transfer. And section 417 of CPC also play a vital role in transferring cases, where it has listed down the circumstances in which court satisfied to grant the order to transfer cases. And with that, that's all from us. Thank you.